I believe that your journey was not a lonely one. I think you tapped into one or two groups. What do you have to say about the usefulness of getting that kind of support, getting group support?
I didn't actually join the group until after I had gone through all of my treatment, because I didn't know about it really. But that has changed in recent years, because now survival groups go to hospitals where oncology patients are and try to recruit them into the group, try to provide support and everything. And what I've heard a lot of people say is that just seeing someone else that has gone through this thing and survived it is about 50% of the battle won. Because we've always known cancer to be the deadly disease. We don't, the story of survivorship is very muted. Not a lot of people are talking about it. So just belonging to a group where you would see people that are going through what you've gone through and are surviving it, are thriving, are living. It's usually a very, very encouraging experience. Our hospitals are grossly understaffed. So you have, if you got a diagnosis abroad, right? They have psychologists and all of that will support you when you receive the treatment, But here, the doctor is trying to see 200 patients in 4 hours. So he doesn't have time to cuddle you and be like, oh, by the way, this is that and that is this. He's just going to tell you the cancer is stage 2. You are going to do this, you are going to do that, you are going to do that. Get out of my office. I mean, in a nicer way, probably. But you now have to figure out, you now have to sit down and try to process what you just heard. And a lot of people, because of how the message is delivered to them, a lot of people run away from treatment. They don't follow through. They'll just be like, no, this is the end. Let me just go and arrange my affairs and lie down and wait for God to come and carry me. But when you now have a support group that is telling you, I mean, somebody will come up and say, my hand is swollen, or it's now very dark. Or somebody else will say, don't worry, Joy, it will soon go. It's a side effect of chemo. Just having that, it makes such a big difference. It's not medical, right? It's not the chemical drugs and all of that you're receiving, but it does something to the heart. It does something to the mind, and it really just encourages people to say, yes, I'm going to fight this thing. I'm going to follow through. I'm going to, if this person can have another, because I had my second child after I had a mastectomy, and I breastfed him exclusively for 6 months with one breast. So if this person can have this experience, I can have it too. If this person can survive chemo, I can do that too. If this person can get married after being diagnosed with chemo, then I have a testimony ahead of me. So that's what the support group really does.
Maybe you can give us some advice, because again, I know you've been quite vocal. Can you give us advice about maintaining basic breast health? And we can, though briefly, but let's look at the teenager, the young woman, pre and post menopausal. I mean, we're all at risk, and we should all know.
Yeah. So I have something I call a breast map, which is basically just an understanding of what your breast feels like. The biggest problem with breast cancer is late presentation, late diagnosis. That's why breast cancer is supposed to be one of the easiest cancers to treat if it is found early. But people are not paying attention to their bodies like they should. So a lot of things have gone very, very wrong before they discover it. So from the first menstrual period even, people should already be doing self-exams to understand what their breast is like. Because people's breasts are, not everybody's breast is smooth. Some people have lumpy breasts. Some people can feel all the muscles and all the tissue in their breasts. Some people can feel their ducts if they're enlarged and things like that. So you should already understand what your breast feels like. The advice is you do the breast self-exam at the same time every month. So the recommended time is about 7 days from the last day of the period, I think. Something like that. Everybody who is premenopause. So just do the self-exam around the same time of every month. When you notice something, don't be scared. Go to a doctor, get it checked. You should also do a professional scan. So for anybody who's premenopause, that scan should be a breast ultrasound. The reason that this is important is the breast ultrasound, or rather the mammogram, cannot really tell the difference between a swollen breast duct and a tumor. The breast ultrasound can. So breast ultrasound is recommended for people that are still seeing their menses. For those who are not, they can do mammograms. Typically, if you're premenopause and you do a breast ultrasound and there's some things that are noticed, the doctors may send you for a mammogram afterwards. So the two tests, or rather the three test options, are self-exams, breast ultrasound, and a mammogram. The self-exam should be done by everybody, pre or post menopause, and the timing should be around the same time every month. The breast ultrasound should be done by premenopausal people. The mammogram should be done by postmenopausal people, at least once a year. Some people would say you can do it 2 times a year. I'm comfortable with once a year because a year is a long time for things to change. So I usually recommend once a year for those professional tests.
Okay, thank you very much for that information. Now, I wonder whether you have any observations, any advice to share with men whose wives or partners are going through treatment for breast cancer.
Don't leave them. That's the most important thing. Don't leave them alone, because we do have people in support group who say, "Oh, my husband said this is not what he signed up for, and he left when I was diagnosed." That is actually when support is needed the most, the absolute most. I'm very grateful for my husband, for my family. I don't know what I would have done without them. For any kind of sickness, it's not easy to deal with it alone. Talk less of breast cancer, where not only might you get deformed from a mastectomy, but people lose their hair, people lose body mass. I mean, you see pictures of people before and after chemo or before and after treatment, and they don't look like the same person. So just having somebody who is constant in your life, saying that you will get through this, we will get through this, I'm here to support you, I'm not leaving you alone, continue to fight, let's do this together. So even doctors will say that a lot of cancer patients die in their minds before they die physically, because they've lost the will to live, and one of the best ways to keep that will to live alive is through a support group, through people, spouses that are there holding your hand through the process and just making sure that such a difficult experience is as soft as possible for you. Speaking about men actually get breast cancer too. We do know quite a number of people who have had mastectomies, a number of men who have had mastectomies, who have gone through treatment like women do. For every 100 women that are diagnosed, there's one man who receives a breast cancer diagnosis. So it's very important for men to also do self-exams. It's not an easy thing to discuss with men, but it needs to be done.
So I think I have one last question. Cancer is expensive to treat. Maybe you can share one or two strategies for either raising funds or accessing funds for this journey that could help anybody listening.
One of the biggest things right now is that the Ministry of Health has created the Cancer Health Fund. It is a pool of money that patients receiving care in 6 particular hospitals, 6 specific general hospitals, can access. This is publicly available information, so I can share with Bukola if it's to be spread around or if it's to be shared publicly. But this is information that's available for everybody. That's one way. There are also a lot of companies, NGOs, agencies that provide grants for people who need funding or support for funding. And there's the good old friends and family that can provide help for you if they have the capacity. So what I would say is that we know that financing is one of the biggest reasons that people run away from their cancer treatments. And what typically happens is if you don't start receiving treatment immediately, it progresses. So you'd see somebody that presented at stage 1, and because they didn't do anything about it, maybe of their own choice or because of the circumstances surrounding getting financing and things like that. By the time they come back to the hospital, it's stage 3, stage 4. It gets more difficult to treat. So that's one of the reasons that it's very important for people that are diagnosed to get to connect with a support group as quickly as possible. These support groups usually have all the information depending on the kind of cancer. There are grants for cervical cancer, for prostate, colorectal, lymphoma, many of the cancers that are prevalent in Nigeria now. It's not a lost cause.
Okay, thank you very much. I'm sure that time people watch your interview, they will be encouraged, their spirits will be lifted.
Thank you so much, Ma. I enjoyed this interview.
Thank you.
Nice to be here. All right. Thank you, Ma.
All right. God bless.